Hi, everyone. Nancy Nouse here with Shannon Acosta. We
Hey,
are both advisors at Benchmark Wealth Management and both CFPs. And we're here today to talk about college
yeah,
or higher education, if you
saving
will.
for it, paying
Saving
for
for it.
it.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Preparing for it. So we've got three questions we want to answer. And Shannon, I'll start with you. Give us an idea of in-state, out-of-state, public-private
Sure.
costs.
This could fluctuate from year to year, but currently an in-state public school is about $17,000 full tuition. An out-of-state public school is going to be closer to 27 or 30. A private school, regardless of in or out of state, will average about the same, about 30,000 or so. So, if you multiply that over 4 years, that's a lot of money.
It's a whole lot of money, and if you're thinking about a specific university, we want you to check those prices. The other thing to consider is inflation. We use 7% for inflation for college, but some universities go up a whole lot quicker
Right.
than that. So certainly a lot more than I paid for college.
Now, if you have children that you're preparing for or grandchildren,
Mhm.
nieces, nephews, when is a good time to start saving?
Yeah, I think now is good. You can start as soon as your child has or grandchild has a social security number. You can get started. So you want to keep that in mind, and every little bit helps. So we have clients we work with that put as little as $25 or $50 a month away. Well, if you're doing that for a newborn, you've got 17 or
Hmm.
18 years of that accumulating. It makes a huge difference. What would you add to that?
Well, I'm curious about the priority order too,
Oh yeah.
because as parents, we are dealing with financial goals ourselves. So, what's this right order in order to
Mhm.
tackle college savings?
And I know many of you have seen this. This is Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps, and I know it's small, so email us if you'd like a copy of this. But basically, it says follow the order, and education doesn't come in until number five. And number five is after number four, and that is number four is save 15% for your retirement and then begin to fund college education or
Yeah.
again higher education. So we feel very strongly about working through the baby steps, and this would be number five on that list.
It's like the put your own oxygen mask on
Right.
first principle.
Yeah,
It
great
feels a little bit
example.
harsh, but what you're doing by prioritizing your children's college saving instead of your own retirement is you're ultimately saddling them with a future responsibility as opposed to saddling them with a responsibility for college.
Right.
And that's a pitfall, a common pitfall that we see families get into as parents age.
Yeah, and I think it's important. We'll get into this a little bit later, but you remember that it's your child's education and it's your child's responsibility. And you have to decide how much you want to pay for or help with or what
Hmm.
have you. But the reason that retirement is number four and education is number five is you can work through college,
Hmm.
and we don't want you to, but you can borrow money through for college. You can't do that in retirement, and that's another reason. And also, it's a bigger nut to crack as far as retirement is
Yeah,
concerned. What
absolutely.
about vehicles?
Oh,
Are we talking about that now?
well, we can. Why not? Because a
Okay,
lot of
yeah.
people who go to college need to have a car to drive. There's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. And in some way, it ties into college funding. How much responsibility are
Right.
you going to place on the child's shoulders as opposed to your own? And with both, if I can answer them in tandem, I think there are a few different tools in the toolkit.
Why don't we say there are a couple tools you can use, 529, UTMA,
Hmm.
and we want to stop there because we're going to have another episode on just 529s and the
Right.
importance of that. So again, what to take away from this in essence?
Well, I think with the how much to save
Hmm.
and how much responsibility you're going to put on the child, there's a couple of rules of thumb that I want to touch on, and it's very personal per family. And I think this applies to cars and to college.
Hmm.
Um, one common one is the rule of 2000.
Okay.
So if you have a goal to pay for half of your child's education, and you save $2,000 times however many years old they are in a lump sum. That's a very loose rule of thumb, but it's one we've seen before if you are a one and done goal type of person.
Hmm.
I have a 6-year old, I have a 4-year old. So if I wanted to apply that principle and we had a goal of just getting it all done, what would that be? 12,000 and 8,000.
Hmm.
And by the time they're college ready, theoretically, there would be a decent amount there to at least fund half of it. The other principle is the rule of thirds. And you touched on this, Nancy, because kids can work during school.
They can. Yes, they can. I did.
And I did too. And it
Mhm.
worked out to my benefit. I
Right.
wouldn't change a thing about that. And every family's different. My husband and I still don't know what we want to carry responsibility wise for the girls' college. So much depends on them
Mhm.
through school. So some folks say, why don't you cash flow a third between the parents or
Mhm.
the child? Why don't you save for a third? And then why don't you put a third of it on the child's shoulders and expect them to take care of it, whether that's through scholarships, working, or lowest on our preference list, taking out a student loan.
Right.
But to intentionally put some of that responsibility on their shoulders for any expense,
Yep.
car, college, is really healthy, and they're going to turn out to be better, more responsible adults because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also a great idea. We've seen a lot of clients do it, that when you set up an education fund for your child, at whenever they start working around the house or working on commission or
Mhm.
whatever, you show them putting that money into their account and begin to teach them about mutual funds and investments, and that can make a huge difference too.
Yeah.
One last planning point that we use with clients is it's an opinion. Do you want to save money for college until your child is a freshman, or do you want to continue to invest for college until they're a senior? Will they have graduate school, etc.? Because if you want to continue to invest money while they're in college, that gives you an extra 4 years. The other thing, last thing, that mom and dad did for me was they said, we will pay for 4 years and you're on your own after
Mhm.
that. And I had to pay for a quarter. We were on the quarter system, and boy, did I appreciate everything they had done for me. So we'll leave you with that thought. Again, I'm Nancy Naus. This is Shannon Acosta. We're with Benchmark Wealth Management. Thrilled to have you with us. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.